Bluetooth can't do that. Bluetooth cannot deliver lossless audio yet. Hey folks, it's me, Jason, back again. Painfully honest tech, so honest it hurts. And today I am here with the Questyle NHB-12 true lossless earphone. Now, this is a sponsored video. Questyle sent these to me to check out, and I have done it. I have checked it out. I have taken them out of the box. I have done all the things that you do in a review. And let me just say, if you use an iPhone and you want some true lossless quality for your earbuds, this right here is probably the easiest way you're going to get it. Do they sound good? We're going to find out. What we're going to do is use the painfully honest scoring system that goes through the presentation, the features, the sound, comparisons to other devices, as well as negatives of this device, and then finally price/value. How does it stand up against the competition in terms of what it delivers versus the price that they're asking for it? But first, a drink of coffee, sponsored by the Painfully Honest Tech coffee mug, which you yourself can get in the carousel down below if you so desire. There's also t-shirts and other things. I also have a line of t-shirts on Amazon.com. Link down there for that. They're not Painfully Honest Tech t-shirts. They're t-shirts designed by me, which may or may not be your cup of tea. So first off, presentation. The unboxing experience, good. This packaging, very solid, very nice, a little bit of flair, some nice presentation once you open the box, and then plenty of accessories provided within, including a case that you can carry them in. It's like just a little tiny wallet case. And then also, you can change out the cables. Oh, and you can drop the earbud. You can remove the earbud, like so, and then change out the cables. And there's going to be a couple of different things that are going to be important about that here in just a little while. Get that back on there. So you get 5 different sets of ear tips from extra small to extra large. They come loaded with the smalls, which usually I use a medium, but the smalls are actually fitting very nicely in my ears, so that's a plus. Comfort-wise, they have the around the ear sort of hangy design, and whereas sometimes that can be a little bit fiddly, these guys fit very nicely in. So you just sort of drape them over your ear, and there you go. And they have a very snug fit, so no active noise cancellation or anything like that. These are a wired headphone, but they have good passive noise cancellation, so that's a plus as well. Build quality, we got nice metal buds. The silicone on the ear tips is very thin, but very comfortable. I've worn these for an hour or so at a time, and they have been very comfortable, not too heavy, not too anything like that. They just fit very nicely, so there's definitely been some attention paid to that. And then the cable itself is a very thin, it looks braided, but it's got a rubber coating with braiding on the inside. This right here is the DAC/Amp, the Questyle. It's a CMA SIP inside, high-res lossless. And then, of course, it terminates in a lightning cable. Now, you might be saying to yourself, hey, Jason, the iPhone might be going to USB-C. Well, we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the video, so just stay tuned because we'll get to that. So that brings us to features, which, first off, I want to say this is sort of going to touch on the irony of Apple and their headphones up until recently. They make all kinds of AirPods Pro, AirPods Max, the Beats headphones that are out there. But even though they switched Apple Music over to lossless at the same time they released the AirPods Max, no headphone that they made could deliver lossless audio until, well, the Beats Studio Pro can deliver lossless up to 48 kilohertz through a USB-C connection. These guys, now you could get Apple Music lossless in a bunch of different ways, and one of which was to have a headphone and a DAC and an amp and all those kinds of things that deliver lossless audio. This little guy right in here delivers up to 24-bit 192 kilohertz lossless audio straight out of the iPhone. No other stuff necessary. Impressive. That is an impressive feat right there. The DAC itself, in here you can see all the little chips and stuff inside. on the little circuit board. It has 2 red lights. If one red light is lit up, it's 48 kilohertz or below. If 2 red lights are lit up, then it's 48 kilohertz or above. And when you're talking lossless, I mean, really, 48 versus 192 versus 96 versus 16-bit 44.1, it's all lossless in the sense that all of the bits, all of the ones and zeros are being delivered. You know, they go through a compression that Apple has, but they still deliver all of the stuff. It's not like MP3, where they take some data off the top and some data off the bottom, and then they make it into a smaller package, which is more digestible by the Bluetooth earbuds or anything like that. This is lossless. Everything that went into the recording goes into the headphones and comes out into your ears. Bluetooth can't do that. Okay, there are good high-res codecs out there, like LDAC and aptX and some others out there, but Bluetooth cannot deliver lossless audio yet. One of these days, maybe, but not yet. So, when you're listening to these and you're plugged into your iPhone, you will hear whatever is lossless on Apple Music. So right here I have the new Ed Stasium mix of the replacement song Left of the Dial, which sounds incredible. Ed Stasium, by the way, if you're a Replacements fan, Ed Stasium has gone back to all the master tapes and has remixed with modern technologies the legendary Replacements record, Tim. And if this song is any indication, it's gonna be incredible. I've heard this song a billion times, and it sounds so crisp, so snappy, so good. Just, okay, enough. But what we have here is high-res lossless, 24-bit 96 kilohertz Apple lossless codec, okay? And, wow. Okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves because sound quality comes next. I do want to show you that we have the 2 dots. They're just tiny little dots. Maybe you can't see it here, but yeah. If you want to use these with another device, Questyle does send a 3.5 millimeter cable that you can just take the earbuds off and put them on the 3.5 millimeter. You do lose the DAC, however, you have that flexibility. The cool thing to me is that I know that there have been some Lightning headphones out there over the past several years, but honestly, they didn't take off. I'm not exactly sure why. I was kind of a big fan of the idea, but Bluetooth headphones like AirPods took off anyway. And so Lightning never got going. But this is the first time since 2017 that I can plug a headphone into my iPhone with a cable and get high quality audio out of it. I tried some of the early Lightning stuff. It wasn't always very good. So this is really the first time since 2017 that you can plug straight into your iPhone and get high quality audio out. Yay. Finally. So let's talk about the soundscape of these guys. Let's talk about how they sound. In my comparisons, I decided since there's nothing else really that compares with these, there's nothing in the marketplace that does what these do unless you have your own separate amp and DAC and headphones, and there's nothing else that really does what these do. So I decided to compare them against what I've been using most regularly recently, and that's the AirPods Pro. As well as I just decided to throw in the new Beats Studio Pro to sort of give myself a little bit of balance. So I know what I'm hearing between these and these is how to compare them, okay? The soundstage on these is very wide, and there's a lot of depth, like top to bottom depth. So, you know, you're getting a nice, crisp, but not shrill highs. You're getting nice, deep, detailed low end, like kick drum and that kind of thing. And then the soundstage itself is wide. The mid-range is doing what it needs to do. You know, that the recording of the replacements that I just mentioned isn't the best recording in the world, but the new mix does sound good. And honestly, these things gave me more detail than I could hear when I was listening to my $4,000 Bowers & Wilkins setup that's over in my studio. So that's saying something. After I listened to a few things on here, I went and got the AirPods Pro, put them in. And I've always liked the sound of the AirPods Pro in general, but the AirPods Pro 2 sounded really good. And in my estimation, they actually sounded a little bit better than the AirPods Max. So I put these in. Of course, this is the way that I always listen to them. Active noise cancellation on, etc., etc. And wow, I was very, very surprised. The AirPods Pro sounded much smaller in terms of, height, much narrower, and more smeared throughout the sound signature. So like the low end was there, but it kind of mixed together with the mid-range, and then the mid-range kind of blurred into the high end, and it just wasn't a very detailed experience. I went back to these again and said, okay, was I really hearing what I thought I was hearing? And honestly, the truth is I was. Very detailed, very deep, very wide, and so I was doubly impressed. So I put on the Studio Pros. The Studio Pros sounded to my ears better than the AirPods Pro, which is a testament to the Studio Pros. It could just be that these are over-the-ear headphones, larger drivers, etc., etc. But I will say that they did sound better, and I listened to them in comparison to these and found that even though they were better than the AirPods Pro, they still didn't have the depth or the width or the detail that the Questyles did. And so this DAC is working some kind of magic. Honestly, seriously, I don't know how else to explain it. Now, this is a sponsored video, as I said. And normally, sponsored videos are more of just kind of a walkthrough of things, but I was so impressed with these that I wanted to go a little bit deeper. And so I did. I went and I listened to all this stuff. And these are really, really good, okay? These are very impressive. And it's something that I've wanted for a long time. Audiophile grade earbuds with a male lightning connector so I can plug them straight into my iPhone, and that's what I've got. So let's talk about the comparable headphones that these would compete with in the market. And again, honestly, I don't know of anything that has this particular feature, the Lightning plus onboard DAC. Now, if I'm wrong, let me know, but I haven't seen them, and I pay attention. So there's nothing that I would really say is comparable to these in terms of that feature set. You could get high-quality IEMs and an amp and a DAC and plug that into your iPhone, I guess, but that's going to be pretty expensive and not very easy to carry around. Like, you've got the Dragonfly portable DACs and stuff, and that's great. Those are great, but this is just an all-in-one compact little system, and that wouldn't matter if it didn't sound really good, and it does. So what are the negatives of this? The cable's a little thin. It can be a little fiddly in terms of getting tangled up on itself, as you can probably see. So yeah, that's a thing. And then here, so part of it is that they've got a little bit of a form-fitting sleeve here to help you with the over-the-ear fit. So that makes it a little bit more challenging, right? And it's about a 3-meter cable, as would normally be the case, but I might like to have the option for a longer cable. As we talked about earlier in the review, the Lightning port, this is my iPhone 12 Pro Max, but the Lightning port with the iPhone 15 is most likely going away. We've heard that the iPhone 15 Pro Max, etc., is going to USB-C. And so once that happens, if you get a new iPhone, this Lightning won't matter. But right now, the Questyle is still in a Kickstarter campaign, but since they have like the actual product here, and I got it in the retail box and all that kind of stuff, they're set to release in September. They said on their Kickstarter page that if you buy during the Kickstarter, so that's a pre-order during the Kickstarter, you get the USB-C version of this cable for free, where it is a free upgrade if you need to in fact do that, if the iPhone 15 does in fact have USB-C. So that gives you a little bit of confidence in buying. If you go to the Kickstarter link down in the description, of course, and pre-order, you're guaranteed to get that USB-C cable when it's necessary to have it. Another concern that I have about these is, yes, you can remove the earbuds and put them back on, right? So it's possible, and it's not necessarily all that hard to do. This is not a normal IEM connector. That's 2 pins that go in here, but you have to be very careful to get these pins in correctly and not bend them, because they are very, very thin. So that's a concern as well, but not, I mean, if you just use it with one cable, not a big deal. If you're not going to be changing them out all that often, which I assume most people won't, not as big a deal, but something to be aware of and a potential failure point for these headphones. And of course, with the 3.5 millimeter, because that's not a digital connection, that's an analog connection, you don't have the amp and DAC built into the cable. Other than that, those are the only negatives that I could really think of. So what about the price and the value? Price-wise, these guys are manufacturer's suggested retail price, MSRP, $299. Kickstarter price, $229. For what you're getting here, that's a very decent price. For the quality of sound that you're getting from these, $229 if you pre-order with the guarantee of the USB-C cable with the DAC when it comes out. So what is my painfully honest score of these guys? I'm gonna give them a 9.5 because the sound is really, really good. And it's something that hasn't been done before in my experience, the Lightning, the DAC, the earbuds. So 9.5. I took the half a point off because the cable is maybe a little fiddly and can get sort of, you can see, tangly. And then the pins here can be very delicate. And it's not, you know, it's sort of like threading a needle here to get them back in. But it's not a huge deal. So half a point off for that. But sound-wise, awesome. Features-wise, awesome. Presentation, comfort, etc., very, very good. So I want to thank Questyle for reaching out, sending these to me, sponsoring a video so I could take a look. But I want you, the audience, to understand that sponsoring a video on the Painfully Honest Tech channel does not mean that I'm just going to be effusive about the product. If the product is only okay, I'm going to say it's only okay. If the product has good points and some bad points, I'm going to say good points, bad points. Just to reassure you that when I say these have impressed me quite a bit, that's not because the video is sponsored. You can maybe think whatever you want. However, I thoroughly enjoy these headphones, and I'm going to be using them as my, iPhone headphones for the foreseeable future. So thanks so much for being here. If you have questions, hit me down in the comments below. All the links to everything down in the comments below, which includes the Painfully Honest mug, which includes the Painfully Honest t-shirts, as well as other stuff. I have a novel, I have music that I've done over the years, etc., etc. Links to everything down there, all my socials. Anyway, once again, my name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest it hurts. Until next time, I am out.